Hannibal. This is episode 2 of season 3 of Hannibal, and it is titled Primavera. Let's do it. Will's back. Oh, he's behind you.
We couldn't leave without you.
Bromance. I totally thought they were gonna kiss in that scene when Hannibal gut stabs him. Abigail, why didn't you run? But what a way to go, though, being spooned by Hannibal as he slits your throat. This is like such a sad scene, but I'm just thinking on set, they must have been so sticky with fake blood. It'd been gross. Swiggity swag the nightmare stag. That's a lot of blood. He was a chipped little teacup. Oh my gosh, Will Graham. Peck muscles. He gave him a teacup to drink out of. How are you still alive? Dude, I still can't get over it. Will Graham looks hot. Dude, Will Graham has the best nightmares ever. Don't just pull out an IV. Even in a dream, you'd be bleeding. 8 months later, don't jump around. Dude, in TV shows, everyone can just hop on a plane and go somewhere. No one can afford air travel that frequently or at that, drop of a hat.
Chief Investigator Rinaldo Bassi. Questura di Firenze.
Everything that dude says just reminds me of Assassin's Creed. It's the accent and the names. For a monster of Florence, you are a looker, Hannibal. Do the pendulum thing. Think about it and do the pendulum thing. I love it. Say, this is my design.
This is my design.
That's right, he did the thing! That's nasty. That's gross. That's horror story gross. Can we stop this? Swiggity swag, what are you doing inside there? You contortionist nightmare stag, get out of there. Ew, what? Ew, it's creepy, stop it. What am I looking at? No, that is terrifying. Oh, gosh, no, don't. Ew, oh, I know you're imagining this, but run. No, sir. And you didn't even have to do the pendulum thing to freak out that much? Will, you are losing your mind.
He misses us.
Aww. Poor Abigail. Her daddies are fighting over their broken hearts.
Yes.
You're out of your mind, stupid Abigail. Will, I don't even know why you want that crazy girl. Give her to Hannibal. Whoa, ew. What's happening? Will, wake up from whatever creepy dream you're doing. Will, your grasp on reality is slipping. Is Abigail even alive, or is this almost like a Fight Club style all in your head? Maybe your other personality kind of thing. Oh, he's watching you! Yeah, she's dead, Will. Come on. At least she got to come back to the show. Oh, they put the eyeball caps in. I have like a box of those somewhere. I like that angle. Camera angle. Even though you're wandering in the catacombs, your jacket makes you look like you're like the cover of a magazine. That and your chiseled features. Don't go wandering in the catacombs. You get lost, you die. Also, if Hannibal's in there, you're definitely gonna die. Who lit all those candles?
What are you going to do when you find him? You're il mostro.
What's he gonna do? He gonna kiss him.
Buonanotte, commendatore.
Yeah, that's right. Say something cool and then back into the darkness. Hannibal is right there. He is right there. Oh, now he's gone. Where'd he go?
I forgive you.
Aww. Okay, so let me explain to you a thing about this show. I'm watching this late, so I already know that it got canceled. At least not renewed. Possibilities of going somewhere else people are talking about, I don't know. I love this show, but I understand why it got canceled. It is like extremely slow pace, and then when it's not, it's like extremely graphic. I don't even understand how it's been on TV this long. This definitely feels like a show that should be on something like Netflix. This episode opens up with the scene where Hannibal guts Will and kills Abigail. Then blood comes in, teacup drops and shatters, comes back together as Will Graham in the hospital bed. Again, super stylized. I think that's probably why people aren't relating to it. He's in the hospital. There's a doctor guy there who's like, there's someone who wants to meet you. In walks Abigail. Abigail's like, oh yeah, the doctor said that he cut me so perfect, knew how to do it, surgical precision so I wouldn't die. He wanted both of us to live. She's like, why did you lie to him? You could have just gone with it and we all could have gotten away together and been together. He's like, everything that can happen, happens. And then she's like, well, if everything that can happens, happens, maybe we're doing what we're supposed to do. Just basically a whole bunch of cryptic talk. Will has one of his either daydreams or nightmares or whatever, but basically he's in his hospital bed, something starts poking through his bandage, he looks up and he's in Hannibal's office / library thing. He remembers him and Hannibal burning stuff and Hannibal talking about this church and this place and this thing, and he's like, I know where he is. Then it jumps ahead to Will and Abigail walking into the church that Hannibal had talked about in the flashback. They do the whole thing about talking about God and talking about Hannibal and blah, blah, blah. Will makes that reference to saying if the roof caved in on the church, Hannibal would just love it, and Hannibal would think that God would love it too. Then right after he says that, he looks up and starts having one of his weird daydream things of like the roof starting to crack and dust is falling on him. Then it kind of morphs into blood falling on the floor, and then it cuts to that torso body thing on a tripod. So while all the cops and like crime scene investigators are looking at this thing, Hannibal walks in, and this one guy's like, I want to talk to you. He's at the police area, and then this other, like, I think he's like a detective guy, but he's also like their Will Graham. He's there and he's like, hey, I read everything about you. I know about your incarceration and blah, blah, blah. And Will's like, well, I got off. The guy's like, well, they've been seeing at this church a lot. Now there's like a torso on a tripod. What's that about? The detective-y dude is like, so are you here because of the body, or is the body here because of you? Then the guy mentions that he met Hannibal like 20 years ago when he was investigating crimes where people were posing bodies like famous paintings. Basically, he went to the gallery where all the paintings were and he saw this guy like adamantly sketching, and he's like, I bet that guy killed a lot of people. He's actually right, because it was Hannibal and Hannibal was sketching crap. He pulls out a picture and is like, I met this man, and it's an attractive picture of Hannibal. They call him the Monster of Florence, and that is an amazing title. They go back to the big church where like caution tape's still there and like little evidence markers are still there. They kind of just talk about how Hannibal never really gets blamed for anything, even though he does everything. And he's like, well, Will, you get blamed for everything and you do not all of it. The detective dude gives him a picture of the big torso, body, heart sculpture Hannibal made. And then Will starts going into that crazy vision questing thing he does. As he's looking at it and monologuing, he's like, this is a broken heart. Hannibal gave me his broken heart. Romantic. But then the freaking body starts contorting and moving and like kind of stands up, and then Swiggity Swag, the nightmare stag, starts popping out of it, and it starts like Silent Hill style crawling at him, and it was nightmare fuel. Abigail kind of like snaps him out of it and sits down next to him to talk. Will's like, after all this crap, do you still even want to go with Hannibal? And Abigail's like, yeah, I do. I pick him. He's my favorite daddy. Will's just sitting there and he's like, Hannibal gave you back to me and then he took you away, and what if no one died? What if we actually went with him? Where would we go? And she's like, well, he said he made a place for us. That's ominous and creepy. That could have been like a plate. Your place could have been a plate. He starts thinking like, I tried to make you a place in this world. And then all of a sudden her throat just kind of like slits itself as she's staring at him. And I'm like, Will, you need some sort of like antipsychotic medication. Then you see that Hannibal's like up above kind of looking down at Will. And Will's just sitting there by himself because it's all in his head, because he's a crazy person. A lovable, adorable, crazy person. Then there's kind of this weird montage of like right after Will and Abigail got all cut up by Hannibal. They're putting Abigail in a body bag. They're taking Will in the ambulance. They're fixing up Will in the hospital, and they're like dressing Abigail for, mortuary type stuff. So Will's just laying there in the church, and the detective guy comes up and he's like, are you praying? And Will's like, I don't pray, blah, 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 philosophy, blah, blah, blah. Will's like, dude, you couldn't even catch Hannibal when he's a kid. Why do you think you can catch him now? And the guy's like, I'm a good cop. Will's like, look, he is going to kill you. You should probably just let this go. And the guy's like, first of all, I'm not going to let it go because you can't even let it go. Second of all, I'm a cop and the guy's killing people. Why would I let him go? As the guy's talking, Will's staring off in this like doors that go down into the catacombs, and he starts seeing like blood come from under them. Then the detective dude's like, look, Hannibal let you know him. He sent you his heart, which besides romantic is creepy, but where do you think he went? And Will's like, he didn't go anywhere. He's still here. And then he just stares off at the doors. So Will heads down to the catacombs, which is always just a poor idea. He's walking around. The detective dude's walking around. They kind of get separated. And then Will sees him and is like, you shouldn't be alone down here. And the guy's like, I'm not alone. I'm talking to you right now. You are here. The guy's like, well, what are you going to do when you find Hannibal? And Will's like, I don't even know. And it's like, at that point, a good detective would say, okay, you might possibly also be a killer, or at least siding with a killer. I'm going to take you back upstairs. But the guy's like, you know what? You're right. I'm going to go. Bye. So as the guy's leaving, you see that Hannibal's in the catacombs with them. And then Will just starts walking around on his own and calling out for Hannibal. And then finally he's like, Hannibal, I forgive you. I mean, I don't know if that was romantic or stupid. Probably both. And then you see that Hannibal was listening, and then he just turns and walks away. And then the credits roll. Let's make some things clear. I absolutely love this show, but I also totally understand why a lot of people don't. I'm sad to see it go. I hope it gets new life on like a Netflix or at least a different network that can maybe even push the envelope more. But I do understand. And it's also kind of the curse of Bryan Fuller. He makes stuff that is so amazing, but not a lot of people can relate to. So they usually end up getting canceled fairly early on in their run. So if I left anything out, if I forgot anything, drop a comment. Don't forget to do the things, rate, comment, subscribe. I'll catch you guys later, so until next time.